Hey everyone, back in 2021, about exactly 4 years ago, I sold what little Ethereum, ETH, that I owned and used the proceeds to buy 100% Bitcoin. And since then, Ethereum is down 50%, literally 50% from the price I sold it, and Bitcoin is significantly up. So how did I know it was going to play out that way? And, therefore, the huge benefit I got? Well, the answer was I did the research. At the time I initially bought Ethereum back in 2017, I was just getting interested in cryptocurrency. Obviously, Bitcoin was the biggest, but I did not have a good conceptual understanding of how the different cryptocurrencies fit together and why someone would use one versus another and things like that. So I bought mostly Bitcoin, but then I bought a little bit of a few other things that were around in 2017 because, again, I was just new to all of it. And that's what you do when you're new to all of it, is you sort of explore and figure out. So ultimately, it became clear as I researched in 2020 and 2021, that the entire cryptocurrency market was bifurcating into two different industries. One was cryptocurrency used as money, and the other was cryptocurrency, or the cryptography, blockchain technology used for smart contracts. And Ethereum, from the very beginning, was built as a smart contract platform, which means it's basically a platform that people can use, and it uses cryptography and a blockchain to do all sorts of interesting and exotic transactions. But what Ethereum is not intended to be is actual money. Nobody uses Ethereum as money. Ethereum is a smart contract platform. So what I learned and discovered in 2021 was that all of these everything in the world of crypto or cryptocurrency was splitting into two things. It was either trying to be money or it was trying to be a smart contract platform. And it became very clear to me in 2021 that the value was going to almost entirely accrue to cryptocurrency as a new form of digital money, and one in which Bitcoin would win. So once I understood that one of these things, which is Bitcoin, is money, and the other is a utility, which is a smart contract platform, it became clear that the problem with a utility platform or a utility anything is that it gets obsoleted by something else. So it became clear to me in 2021 that Ethereum, because it was valuable only because of its utility, not for its monetary properties, made it susceptible to being outcompeted. And also, any utility platform is going to become less valuable the more it is used, based on the nature of how a smart contract platform works. The way a smart contract platform works is you have to use some of the native token to transact to the platform. So if you want to do exotic financial transactions on the Ethereum platform, you have to use Ethereum, ETH, Ether, in order to do those transactions. And the hypothesis was that would make Ethereum very valuable because all of these people would be using it and all the people would need the token. But what inevitably happened was the more people that used it, it got more and more expensive to transact on the network. And the more expensive it got, the less people used it. And so essentially it's the curse of a smart contract platform that the more successful it becomes, the more incentive there is to switch to something else where the transaction fees are lower. And what really drove this home for me is back in 2021, there was a company called Exodus. It currently trades on the New York Stock Exchange as EXOD. Exodus, which was sort of a cryptocurrency wallet platform. And they were planning to go public on the blockchain, and they were planning to do that on Ethereum. And at the last minute, they changed to Algorand because the fees were so high on Ethereum, it just didn't make sense. And so immediately it occurred to me that, wait, if this is how this works, which is as soon as it gets expensive, everybody just switches to a different platform, it became clear that this is going to just happen over and over and over. Now it'll be Ethereum, and then the same thing will happen to Algorand. The same thing will ultimately happen to Solana and Cardano and all of those platforms. So once I understood that, then it became clear that my only interest in all of this was Bitcoin, or was cryptocurrency, as a new form of a financial system and a new form of money. And it became clear to me that none of those other things were ever going to play that role based on the nature of how they were built and everything else. So I sold anything in the world of crypto other than Bitcoin, I sold it. I actually didn't sell it. I converted it to Bitcoin, which you could do on these platforms. You just say, I want to basically convert Ethereum to Bitcoin. And if you own anything in the crypto ecosystem other than a Bitcoin, I would recommend that you do exactly the same thing. Just go in there and say, hey, I want to convert whatever it is, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, XRP, which XRP is just a straight up scam, and convert it all to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the one thing that has, that will dwarf in value every other conceivable thing. And I think everything else ultimately will be outcompeted in the long term. So the takeaway from all of that is, in the world of crypto, there is digital money, digital gold, the new financial system of the world, which is Bitcoin, and there's effectively zero competition for that right now. So there's that. And then there's smart contract platforms like Solana and Cardano and platforms like that, Ethereum. And those are valuable only because of their utility, not because they're store of value properties or monetary properties, because they don't have any, at least not good ones. Ultimately, blockchain technology is only really good at one thing, which is a digital scarcity, which is valuable for money, which is why the big breakthrough of all of it was Bitcoin, digital scarcity, and the ability to build an entirely new financial system from scratch that is built on nobody being in charge, with everybody having veto power over the network to keep anyone from making changes, which is why there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and why you can safely store value in Bitcoin in a way you cannot in Ethereum. Obviously, if you had tried to store value in Ethereum, you would be down more than 50% in US dollar terms, and down much more than that in Bitcoin terms, because while Ethereum has lost 50% of its value in the last 4 years, Bitcoin has gone up significantly in value. Therefore, the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is even larger than the 50% drop in Ethereum, because it's the 50% drop in Ethereum on top of the outperformance of Bitcoin being significantly higher in value than it was 4 years ago. So I would not store value. Do not use a smart contract platform as an investment. If you want to do exotic financial transactions, which I'm guessing practically zero of the people listening to this video or watching this video are interested in doing exotic financial transactions on a smart contract platform. So unless you're actually using it for its intended purpose, which is to do exotic financial transactions, then most of what people use crypto for is as an investment, as a store of value. And for that purpose, it's basically Bitcoin stands alone as purpose built for that purpose and actually good at that job. Everything else in the world of crypto will either be outcompeted by another utility platform or smart contract platform, or in the case of XRP, it's a straight up scam that will eventually go to zero. And anyway, when all the dust settles, there will only be one thing left, and that will be Bitcoin. And then some, tiny smart contract platform that almost nobody uses. So if you want an investment and you want to store wealth, there is one good place to do it, and that is Bitcoin. So I learned that in 2021. Glad I did, because otherwise I'd be way down as compared to where I am. And so I'm so thankful I converted that Ethereum to Bitcoin in 2021. And for anyone holding on to anything that is not Bitcoin in the world of crypto, I would recommend you do the same. Convert it all to Bitcoin, BTC, the real thing. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks.